Every year, millions of people visit national parks seeking adventure, beauty, and escape from everyday life. But beneath the stunning landscapes and peaceful trails lies a darker reality. These protected wilderness areas have claimed hundreds of lives in ways that defy explanation, challenge rescue teams, and haunt the families left behind. This is the story of the most terrifying deaths in national parks. The brutal truth that nature doesn't care about your plans, your experience, or your survival. July 2011, Yosemite National Park, California. Three friends stand at the top of Vernal Fall, one of the park's most photographed waterfalls. The Mauled River flows past them at 1,500 cubic feet per second, fed by snowmelt from the high country. Homies David, 22, Ninos Yakub, 27, and Ramina Badal, 21, decide to cool off. They step over the safety barrier. The water looks calm here, just a gentle current before the 317-foot drop. Homies goes first, wading into the river. The current is stronger than it looks. Within seconds, he's pulled towards the edge. Ninos jumps in to save him. Then Ramina follows. Park rangers and witnesses watch in horror as all three are swept over the falls in less than 30 seconds. Their bodies tumble through the air, smashing against rocks on the way down. The force of the water is equivalent to being hit by a car at 60 miles per hour, multiple times. Search and rescue teams recover their bodies over the next 2 days. The autopsy reports are brutal. Massive blunt force trauma, every major bone broken, internal organs ruptured. The warning signs were everywhere. Barriers, signs in multiple languages, rangers stationed nearby specifically to warn people. But the water looked so calm. That's what kills people at Vernal Fall. Not the drop itself, but the deceptive current above it. The river bottom is polished granite, smooth as glass, offering zero traction. Once you're in, you're gone. Since 1851, Yosemite has recorded over 1,500 deaths. 14 people have gone over Vernal Fall alone. The pattern is always the same. Underestimating the water, overestimating their ability to control the situation, and 30 seconds of absolute terror before the fall. August 2008, Denali National Park, Alaska. The most remote and unforgiving wilderness in North America. A place where the weather can kill you in minutes and rescue is often impossible. Christopher McCandless became famous here, dying alone in an abandoned bus. But his death was slow, taking months. What happened to solo hiker Claire Ackley was far more sudden and far more terrifying. Claire, 29, was an experienced backpacker from Colorado. She had permits, proper gear, and had filed her itinerary with park rangers. She was hiking the Savage River Loop, a moderate 15-mile trail. On day 3, she didn't check in at her scheduled waypoint. Rangers initiated a search. They found her campsite intact, her gear organized, her food properly stored in a bear canister. But Claire was gone. The search expanded. Helicopters, dog teams, ground crews covering hundreds of square miles. 4 days later, they found her body 3 miles from her campsite, in a direction that made no sense given her planned route. She was partially undressed, her jacket and boots removed, despite temperatures in the 40s. Her hands were bloody. Fingernails torn off. The autopsy revealed the cause of death, severe hypothermia. But the condition of her body told a more disturbing story. The bloody hands suggested she had been trying to dig or claw at something. The removed clothing is a phenomenon called paradoxical undressing, a late-stage hypothermia symptom, where victims feel burning hot and strip naked. But what led her 3 miles off course? The prevailing theory is that Claire encountered a bear, not close enough to attack, but close enough to panic. She ran. In unfamiliar terrain, in failing light, she became disoriented. By the time she realized she was lost, hypothermia was already setting in. The cold affects your brain first, impairing judgment, creating confusion, inducing panic. She probably spent hours walking in circles, her core temperature dropping degree by degree, her cognitive function deteriorating until she no longer knew who or where she was. The paradoxical undressing happened in the final stage, minutes before death. She died alone, terrified, and completely lost less than 5 miles from a major trail. Denali records an average of 4 deaths per year. Most are from falls or avalanches, but the deaths from exposure, from simply getting lost and running out of time, those are the ones that haunt rescue teams, because they're preventable, and because they happen so fast. June 2005, Grand Canyon National Park, Arizona, the most visited national park in America, and one of the deadliest. Margaret Bradley, 24, was hiking the Bright Angel Trail with her boyfriend. It was 105 degrees Fahrenheit. They started late, at 10 a.m., the worst possible time. The Bright Angel Trail descends 4,280 feet over 9.5 miles. Going down is easy. Coming back up is where people die. Margaret and her boyfriend reached the Colorado River at the bottom. They rested, drank water, started back up. 2 miles into the ascent, Margaret began showing signs of heat exhaustion, dizziness, nausea, confusion. Her boyfriend tried to help her, but she collapsed. He ran for help. Rangers reached her within 40 minutes. She was unconscious, her core body temperature 108 degrees Fahrenheit. They initiated cooling procedures, called for a helicopter evacuation. Margaret died before the helicopter arrived. The cause of death was hypothermia, essentially her brain cooked inside her skull. At 108 degrees, proteins in your cells begin to denature, breaking down like eggs in a frying pan. Your organs shut down one by one, kidneys first, then liver, then heart. The brain swells inside the skull, causing seizures, coma, death. The Grand Canyon kills an average of 12 people per year. Heat-related deaths are the second most common cause after falls. The Park Service has a saying, "Down is optional, up is mandatory." But every year, dozens of hikers underestimate the canyon. They see the trail going down and think, "I can do this." They don't account for the return trip, for the heat, for the altitude gain equivalent to climbing a 40-story building in a 100-degree weather. Margaret's death was witnessed by dozens of hikers who passed her on the trail. Many tried to help, but once hypothermia reaches a certain point, there's nothing anyone can do. Your body is already shutting down. You just don't know it yet. September 2014. Glacier National Park, Montana. Grizzly bear country. One of the few places in the lower 48 states where humans are not the apex predator. Lance Crosby, 63, was the experienced hiker and a seasonal employee at the park. He knew the risks. He carried bear spray. He hiked during daylight hours. On September 3rd, he went for a solo hike on the Elephant Back Loop Trail. He never came back. Rangers found his body 2 days later, half a mile off the trail. The scene was horrific. Lance had been partially consumed by a grizzly bear. His body showed signs of a sustained attack. Deep claw marks, bite wounds on his head and torso, defensive wounds on his arms. The bear had cached his body, covering it with dirt and vegetation to return later for feeding. DNA analysis identified the bear as a 20-year-old female with cubs. She was tracked and euthanized. Examination of her stomach contents confirmed she had fed on Lance's body. The reconstruction of the attack is chilling. Lance likely surprised the bear and her cubs at close range. The mother bear charged to protect her young. Lance deployed his bear spray, but either missed or the wind blew it back. The bear knocked him down. Grizzly bears don't kill quickly. They maul, using their claws and teeth to neutralize the threat. Lance probably survived the initial attack, lying injured while the bear determined he was no longer a danger. Then she returned with her cubs and began feeding. The autopsy couldn't determine if Lance was alive during the feeding, but the defensive wounds suggest he was conscious for at least part of the attack. Glacier National Park has recorded 10 fatal bear attacks since 1967. The pattern is consistent. Surprise encounters at close range, usually with mother bears protecting cubs. Bear spray works 90% of the time, but that 10% failure rate is fatal. What makes Lance's death particularly terrifying is that he did everything right. He was experienced, prepared, and aware. And it didn't matter. Sometimes in the wilderness, you're just in the wrong place at the wrong second. And nature doesn't give you a second chance. April 2017, Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming. Home to the largest concentration of geothermal features in the world. Boiling hot springs, geysers, mud pots, and fumaroles covering thousands of acres. The ground itself can kill you here. Colin Scott, 23, was visiting the park with his sister. They left the boardwalk at Norris Geyser Basin, one of the hottest and most acidic thermal areas in the park. They were looking for a place to hot pot, the illegal practice of soaking in thermal features. Colin found a hot spring near Pork Chop Geyser. He bent down to check the temperature. The ground gave way. He fell into the spring. His sister watched him fall through the surface. She called 911 immediately. Rangers arrived within minutes, but they couldn't recover the body. The spring was too hot, too acidic, and too unstable. They would have to wait until morning. By the next day, there was nothing left to recover. Colin's body had completely dissolved. The spring was approximately 212 degrees Fahrenheit with a pH of 3.5, similar to battery acid. At that temperature and acidity, human tissue breaks down rapidly. Skin and muscle dissolve first, then organs, then bones. Within 24 hours, a human body can be reduced to nothing. The Park Service released a statement. Due to the acidic and thermal nature of the spring, there were no remains to recover. Colin's death was recorded as accidental, but the circumstances reveal a darker truth about Yellowstone. The thermal features are not attractions. They're geological hazards that can kill instantly. The ground around them is often just a thin crust over boiling water. One wrong step, and you fall through into a pool that will cook and dissolve you before anyone can help. Yellowstone has recorded 22 deaths from thermal features since 1890. Most are from people leaving designated paths, getting too close, or deliberately entering the water. The park has over 10,000 thermal features. Most are unmarked. The boardwalks and barriers exist for a reason. But every year, visitors ignore the warnings. They want the perfect photo, the unique experience, the story to tell back home. Colin Scott got his unique experience. It lasted about 30 seconds. Then he ceased to exist. These 5 deaths represent different ways national parks can kill you. Drowning, exposure, heat stroke, animal attack, thermal burns. But they all share common elements. Underestimating the danger, overestimating personal ability, and the brutal reality that nature operates on its own terms. National parks are not theme parks. They're not controlled environments designed for your safety. They're wild places where the rules of civilization don't apply, where a moment of poor judgment can end your life, where rescue might be hours or days away, where your body might never be found. The National Park Service records approximately 160 deaths per year across all parks. The leading causes are drowning, falls, and motor vehicle accidents. But the deaths that haunt park rangers are the preventable ones, the ones where someone ignored warnings, bypassed barriers, or simply didn't respect the environment they were in. Because those deaths are always the same. 30 seconds of poor judgment, followed by minutes or hours of terror, followed by death. And there's nothing anyone can do but watch, or find the body later, and wonder why someone thought the rules didn't apply to them. The wilderness doesn't care about your Instagram post. It doesn't care about your bucket list. It doesn't care if you're experienced or prepared or careful. One mistake is all it takes. And in national parks, mistakes are permanent. This is the brutal truth about America's most beautiful places. They're also some of the most dangerous, and every year they claim new victims who thought they were different, who thought they were careful enough, strong enough, lucky enough. They weren't, and neither are you.